Guys, girls, ladies and gentlemen, it's BTC Gambler back. Listen, hope you're all well. Apologies, I haven't done a video for a few days. You'll see why in a moment, but I have been very, very busy. So, yeah, I've got a couple of things I want to show you today. Yeah, I hope you're going to like them. And I advise you to stick around to the end of this video because I'm going to be making a big announcement. Yeah, over the last few days, guys, I've been working really, really hard on this new code here. It's a new version of the Infinity Code, version 11, based on principles that we've learned from the dual game. With the whole idea, this code has been written, and what I'm saying to you and I say to everybody else, and it was, if you watched Eddie's stream today, it will verify exactly what it says. You can't ever actually really beat the casino, but there is a way to play them in such a way that if you try not to beat the casino and you try not to win but also try not to lose and just wager as much as possible, that's what this principle is all about. And in doing so, you gain back all the VIP perks, and it's through the VIP perks that you choose to make your money rather than through the gambling itself. And you'll find it's the safest form of gambling, guys. Trying to beat the casino, is always going to be challenging. Myself, FemisX, Time Drift have been working on many different versions of this, and this was the end result. And it's taken us a long time to get to this, and I'm going to show you in action today. And what it is, just briefly explain what it is. It's a game that took the original concepts of the Infinity Code. And if you don't know what the Infinity Code is, it's a really old piece of code that I wrote a very long time ago that was designed just purely for wagering. It's called the Infinity Code because it's designed to run forever. Okay, not win, not lose, just designed to win forever. It's made up of 2 stages. Stage 1, it does 49.5% win chance on dice, and on a win it doubles down, and it doubles down up until 3 wins, and on the 3rd win it goes back to base bet. Okay, so you're looking for like 3 consecutive wins in a row. If you just run that on its own, you can run dice at 50% win chance for quite some time, but it will gradually go down. And so what you need in conjunction with this to make this useful is some form of recovery. And for the recovery, we're using the game Dragon Tower. So in Dragon Tower, we're just using an aggressive form of delayed martingale, and instead of waiting for 4 or 5 losses, guys, I checked all the data, and pretty much every single one of them where I've had excessive loss streaks, because I was hunting for losses, pretty much every one of them, there was wins before that. So it was crazy for me to hunt that. So now I'm just looking for 1 loss streak. And if the streak is -1, it goes in 14 times the base bet. Because the idea here is that we want 1 win and straight out back into stage 1 to give it sufficient profit to be able to stay in stage 1 for a long period of time, and then it gradually builds down in, and it keeps repeating that over and over and over again. Target was to wager over $1,000 per account so that you can get access to all of the VIP perks, and that includes weekly, monthly, post-monthly, rate back. And that's basically it. And that's where you're going to make your money. It's through the VIP perks that you get from just wagering, because Stake is probably one of the best casinos when it comes to giving back. The objective here is to wager $1,000 per account, and the target here is, I'm playing in TRX, it needs to wager above 50 TRX, where it's 50 TRX or more to hit that target. But we come at a critical point because I'm ready to collect this week's weekly. If I just quickly collect these, and you can watch me do this. Okay, so the profit's at 0, and I've written some scripts to make this easy for me. So if I quickly run through these, and I'll bring you back when it's done. Okay guys, that did not take long. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised. So I've had my AlphaVerse pretty much down most of the week, so I did not wager very much. I'm very surprised that I managed to get 311. So it's free money, guys, free money. Yeah, so I take that. I'm just gonna have a browse through to make sure I didn't miss any important things now as I reset the profit here. Yeah, I want you to see this in action. So it's got 6,650 recovery pot. Let's click play. Let's click play. I'm going to make one change before I do that because I've got one very odd account. I'm going to have to take out. I'm going to go down to 165. I've got one account that for whatever reason I can manually do it on the website, tip funds, but I can't. Just one account, it just won't work. So if the vault ends up in that particular account, it gets stuck. So I'm going to take that account out of play. Right, we're good to go, guys. So we're good to go. So we're down to 165 accounts now, not 166. I'm going to kick this off. I'm going to reset the timer when they're all going. And the profit was already reset. So, you know, we're not going to pay too much attention on the profit. But what we are going to be doing is keeping an eye out on the wagered amount. So I'm going to leave this running for 1 hour. I'll time lapse it and I'll bring you back. Okay guys, just come up to the 1 hour mark. I'm going to take a snapshot of the figures so I've got them to hand and we could do some number crunching. And the bit that I'm particularly interested in is obviously the wagered amount. The wagered amount, I'm going to show you why that's so important in a minute. And obviously we made a bit of profit, but not much, but I'll talk to you about that in a moment. Right, what I've done is I took the wagered amount from every account, so we should be able to average those, which gives us an average wager per account of 119.06. So we round that down to 119, and this is where it gets interesting, guys. 119 is pretty darn huge, because if we translate this down, you know, this is the bit that was so important that I was trying to emphasize. The target was to get to 50 TRX, which wagers on the exchange rate, which is currently 11 cents per TRX, by the way. If we got 119, which is what we did get in the first hour, that means in a day it's going to wager 2,856, which is $314, and in 7 days will be 19,992 per account. That is 2,199. Guys, that is 2 entries into the ticket. Now I've got 166 accounts running on mine, so you could see that is I'll end up wagering 365 for the week, $365,000. That's going to get me 365 tickets for nothing, basically. So I might have a shot. If more of you embrace this type of solution, I expect to see lots and lots of more bronze and silver and gold accounts to be winning those weekly draws. And I have noticed over the last couple of weeks there have been more bronze wins, and I'm wondering whether it's you guys out there doing that. Anyway, I really hope you do. Yeah. Now, when you obviously playing at that level, that's going to give you every single VIP perk, and that's where we're going to make our money. Now I want to come to this profit section here. Now this profit section is going to remain pretty stable just because of the nature of the way that this has been coded. This isn't really going to change too much. Okay, but we can, if we're clever about this, we can make some changes. So for example, if I went onto a server and you see this little button up here, when you click on that little button up there, it copies down from the server this file, and if in that file I just simply stated CD to the mount folder and then restart DicePop, what will happen is, and we're going to do it now, and you watch how, well, Important to pause it first, okay? Just in case you get a crash in between. And we'll update all the bots. And it does it pretty quickly. And all it's going to do is restart the dice bots. We will see, unfortunately, we will lose really critical data like the amount wagered. They will all go to 0. Okay, and the amount of, yeah, they all get reset. You see them all, they're all going now. That means that the wager amount's going to go down here. But we already know what that figure is. So it's we just wanted to sense check it to make sure that we are meeting our criteria, which we have done successfully. So we can follow this down. So that button is a godsend, guys, because you can code it to do anything. Yeah, like if I wanted to shift all the vaults to one account, I could just issue the commands to that. It's slowly getting through them. See, the profit doesn't go. So this is just a little trick, a little hack, you know. So $6.67 an hour is not that exciting. Obviously, it's not too bad, guys, when you think about it, really. But we could do better than this, okay? So now they've all been reset, and I click play again. I expect we're going to get a couple of crashes because everybody starts at stage 2. Yeah, this was to be expected. But once this is settled down, we would see that profit would go up a bit, okay? And it would start to go up again. And what you'll see, guys, if you watch this spends much, much more time in level stage 1 than it does on stage 2 in pretty much every account. And so this was what brings along an extra level of stability, because you can't actually crash out on stage 1. It's only at stage 2 while you're at risk. So when you do reset it, you do get the occasional bust. So do be careful with this, because stage 2 is the only time you're at risk. But once this is recovered, what I expect this to do is slowly start to increase. And there's nothing stopping you running that, say, once every 20 minutes or something. If you want to increase the amount of profit, it's entirely up to you how you want to run it, and the profits will creep up again, and then we can keep doing that, okay? And we can get the profit up, as well as obviously the wager will stay the same as well. It's a really interesting strategy. Like I said, don't go yet, guys, because I've got something very important I want to tell you soon, okay? So please stay around to watch the important announcement. But for me, it is 3:30 in the morning, and I'm going to leave this time lapse. Yeah, so you can watch this running overnight, because I want you to see the stability of the platform. Perhaps we'll do a session where I'm going to do a series of resets to see if I can get that profit back up. Because if I can get the profit back up to cover another recovery part, I mean, that would just be amazing, wouldn't it? I think you can do this like once every sort of 20 minutes, and you're going to just gradually build it up from there onwards. And that's the way that you can increase your profits. So when that reaches around about 12, I imagine you could do it then. So it seemed to make, yeah, $6 profit roughly every time you reset it. You won't need that many resets to, you know, get another recovery pot. And it's an excellent way of increasing your profit in this as well. Right, I'm going to leave this running time-lapsed, and obviously which will be massively sped up, so you don't have to sit there and watch hours and hours of boring AlphaVerse play, but I do want you to see it in action, and I do need to go to bed. I'll speak to you in a minute. I'll speak to you soon. Okay guys, so it's just been another like 10 hours, so we've done 11 hours in total running here, but we've only obviously got stats for 10 hours. Pretty stable as expected. It's quite fascinating watching this code run. You can see it running here. This is just one client running the dice bot, and you'll see it was pretty much spent most of its time in stage 1. You see that the profit hasn't increased. We got busts there, but let that finish. And the reason that is because it's exactly how the code has been designed. It's been designed not to win, not to lose. So it goes into stage 1 and it does like a reverse martingale, where basically it doubles down on 2 wins. So you're looking for 3 wins in a row, and then you make a profit, and it stays in stage 1 for a very long period of time until it reaches the point where if you go back to your start balance, it kicks back into stage 2. Stage 2 makes a decent profit very quickly and goes back to stage 1 very quickly. So as a consequence of that, you know, the profit really isn't going to change. And I showed you one demo yesterday where if we reset it, yeah, there's a possibility that, you know, you could make a profit on this. And so from the back of that, I've created a new version of the code I'm going to share with you in a second. But again, please, I'm asking you to, if you stuck around this far, I have condensed like 12 hours of video, guys, to a few minutes for you guys. So like, yeah, it shouldn't be too long, this video. But obviously I said I've got an important announcement to make, and I have got an important announcement to make. So I will announce it after this, but I just want to show you a new version of the code, version 12. And what version 12 has been designed to do is say that, you know, rather than doing what I did, which was manually reset it, I thought, hey, I could code that. And I've added a line in here. So yeah, if the dice bets, exactly every 2,000 dice bets, yeah, and you're in a win situation, so can't be in a lose situation, yeah, in stage 1 only, then every 2,000 it would just dumps it to the vault, and that's the equivalent of a reset, but it won't reset all the stats, if you know what I mean. So this has got to be a much better way of doing that. I want to change all clients to version 12 to see how that's going to run. It's a bit experimental. There's some unknowns about it, so we're going to be probably introducing a greater level of risk, but I'm hoping to improve that profit situation quite dramatically, actually. So if you look in Discord, somebody's commented already, so they've commented. I've put the code here, version 11 and version 12. Okay, so depending what you want to run. If you want stable, just want to wager, run version 11. If you want to make a bit of profit as you go along, run version 12. And now I haven't run version 12 before, so we're about to test that ourselves. So Jungle, this video is being created as we speak. Right. So what I've done is obviously I've got my magic little button up here that can do everything for me, and I have coded that. So if we look on the server here, I mean, I've put version 12 up. I've got this share folder created here. Yeah, if you're going to run this script, you're going to want something similar. And bear in mind, it is case sensitive. So I've put the share folder under the root of my home folder, BTC Gambler. So there's a share folder, and I called it capital S. So if you don't do the same, probably the button won't work for you. No, it will. No, I'm talking rubbish. But it will come down to the script that you run. So for me, I've written some script that basically says, I'm going to go to the AlphaVerse live folder. I'm going to remove the package.json. And the reason I'm going to remove the package.json is because under my share file location, I've updated the package.json file already to say that for DiceBot, we're going to use version 12. And so I'm just going to copy that down from the server. Rather than modifying, using search and replace, I'm just going to set a command to remove the package.json file, and then using SSH pass, and obviously I just got some fake password here, guys. I'm not going to give you my real passwords, to run a SCP, so secure copy from the server, obviously my credentials. So using this command, SSH pass, put your password in here. This is essential so it doesn't come up with except the SSH key, otherwise it will fail. Obviously username, the server name, and then the location what we're copying. So from here, as I said, I'm copying from my share location the package.json into my AlphaVerse live folder. And while I'm here as well, I copied up the version 12 of the code. I don't need to run git pull. I could just copy it from my server and put that in my client folder as well. That needs to change to 12. So again, using SSH pass, and it's going to copy the thing, and then it should just restart the dice bot. Okay, and that's basically, that is stored obviously under here. Now I'm going to change mine, so bear with me a sec, and then we're going to switch over. I'm going to make sure obviously we have got a bust situation. I need to let that fix itself. I'll be right back. Right, I'm ready to go. So I'm going to pause this before we get another bust. Okay guys, it's always good and wise and sensible to check, double check, triple check everything. So I've done that, and I'm going to commit now by clicking this button here, and it's going to run those commands across every client. Yeah, they're all going to get done at the same time. They're all going to go down, and they're all going to come back up, and all of the profits and all of the wages going to disappear, but they'll be on version 12 of the code, and that's the one where it's going to vault profits every 2,000 bets on dice stage. Now I hope that isn't too frequent, because if you overutilize the vault function on stake, they can block it. So we'll see. But what I'm hoping this is going to produce, I think it will introduce a new level of risk, but I'm thinking it's an accepted level of risk, because if we can make a profit as we go along as well, and that's great, without massively increasing risk. Recognize we definitely are increasing the risk by doing this. Like I say, I will leave it up to you. My biggest challenge with AlphaVerse, guys, you know, one is obviously the complexity of the setup, which we're going to cover in a minute, okay? But the other one is people turn to me, asking me what to run on it. Everybody's asking me, what am I running? What am I doing? And, you know, and obviously I don't mind sharing the information I run, but on the other hand, I don't want the responsibility of telling you what they should run. I think that should be their own choice. What I want to do is breed, like the activity we've been having over the last few days with FemSX and Time Drifts, where we've been working collaboratively on code. I want to see much more of that. You know, there's some really great ideas floating around, and I don't want the responsibility of deciding what you should and shouldn't run on AlphaVerse. Yeah, I don't mind providing a platform, and obviously I don't mind sharing what I'm doing, but that doesn't mean that's what you should do exactly the same. You know, what I found is that there's obviously each level of one person's own personal risk is not the same as mine, and each person's of personal wealth is not the same as mine as well. You know, because one of the things that when you're running at sort of this sort of level, when you were getting sort of 1.7, 1.8 million bets per hour, you know, those extreme events do come along frequently, and the only way that you can protect yourself is by having the funds to be able to buy yourself out of difficult situations. Now I understand that isn't something that everybody can do, so this is why I try to innovate, and I try to innovate with code that requires minimum. I did try creating a version where it required no recovery pot, but well, in fact it wasn't just me, it was Time Drift and FemSX as well. I have to say we came very close, but it just wasn't, and we came to the conclusion after days and days and days of testing that you simply can't run AlphaVerse without some form of recovery pot. It just doesn't seem to be possible. Right, so but then it's minimizing that, and that's where the original Infinity for code came along, and it's been advanced since then. And if you can, you know, look at this, we've got one recovery pot, and then it's 40 TOX per account. It's not a huge amount. It's not like the astronomical amounts that you are used to run on AlphaVerse. I don't want to expose you to that level of risk. Right, we are here. It's all converted across. So this is going to be very interesting. I wonder what impact this will have on the wagering, because most of the wagering happens on stage 1, and every 2,000 bets it's going to force it to vault the profits and then go to stage 2. So I've got one of the windows open here just on the dice button. It's obviously paused at the moment. I'm just going to stop it and restart it just to make sure it is on version 12, and it is. That is good, and it's telling me the stats that I need to know. Start balance of 40, the base bet is there and thereabout, and the vault threshold is... Running a new version of the code is always nerve-wracking. I think what I might do, bear with me a second. Yeah, what I've done with the magic of OBS, guys, I'm gonna have one of the terminals open here so we can see what's actually going on in the dice pot, because it'd be fascinating to watch this. I'm going to start it, then I'm going to reset the timer, and then we can see exactly what's going on. It's as always expected, when you first start you're going to get a number of busts because they all start at stage 2, and this is going to happen every 2,000 bets on only in a win situation. So if it gets 2,000 bets on dice and it's not a win, it would have to wait another 2,000 bets before it does it again. So, and I think what this should do is actually, 2,000 bets per client should, on average, it's 3 or 4 times an hour, 15-20 minutes most. Right, coming up to the hour mark, guys. So I'm going to take a snapshot in typical fashion. I've got one that's broken, okay, which is going to throw out the profit at the top here. I think it needs a reboot. I'm trying to fix it, but we've got what we needed anyway. We can basically deduce a lot from this. So I've taken a snapshot of the statistics. Try and fix this one that's broken. I might have to reboot it, which is really annoying. I'm doing that now. Anyway, right. Let me crunch the numbers and I'll be right back. Okay, I just refixed that client. So, yeah, unfortunately, obviously, the stats, but it doesn't matter because we was taking an average. Just typical like it is. Actually, for me, I mean, this might be a short video for you, but this is 13 hours work for me, guys. So this is on the 13th bloody hour that I've had one bot that crashed. It doesn't matter because obviously what we're interested in is in the averages. So we make a comparison because, so this is where we were on version 11 of the code. We were focused purely on the wager amount and looking to get over $1,000 a week, and we achieved that. And to do that we need to be over 50 TRX per account. Now if we look at the average now is 126, so we can take those figures. The wagering's gone up actually. That's very, very interesting. Notice we've got huge variations in betting speed, and I need to be looking at them. And don't forget to stay around, guys, because the really important bit, I've got such an important announcement to make, so you must stay around to watch the rest of the video. Because if you miss it, you miss it. It's like then you're going to miss something really important. Right, now that we've got this, and we've got obviously this strategy which is included in a little bit of profit, we can start adding those figures in and see what that begins to look like. So let me, and we work on an average. So let me add the profit fields in there, guys, so that you can see exactly what the numbers we're talking about. Okay, so we wasn't looking at profit before, but now we are. On this version, if you want to run this version and you're looking to make profit as well, I think I might stick on this one actually. When we looked at the averages of the profit, it was 1.11 TRX per hour per bot. So basically 12 cents per hour per bot, which doesn't sound like very much, but that is per day is $2, $3 a day basically, and it's over the duration of the week, $20 profit. Obviously in isolation that's not very much, but with me over 166, that for me is $488 a day profit and 3,416 a week. So I tend to look at these in terms of, if I was to lose a recovery pot, how long would it take me to recover a recovery pot? I always have that at the back of my mind. So the first target is to reach enough profit to cover your recovery pot, and the recovery pot is 6,650 TRX. And if we're averaging 184.86 profit per hour, that means the recovery time is 35 hours and 36 hours. So it's 1.5 days. So I need this to remain stable for more than 1.5 days to gain back a recovery pot should I to lose it. So I'll tend to think along those lines. Like I said, this code is in AlphaVerse. Right now, guys, this really important note I'm going to make now. I recognise that AlphaVerse is very difficult to get set up and running, and for the very first time ever, I'm going to be making my data center available to everybody. I'm now going to be offering hosting services. So I have a brochure, and what the AlphaVerse host service is where, if you're a reasonable size, I will set up and build your AlphaVerse environment for free in my data center. Okay, and it's not just it's not in my backyard or my garage or anywhere. It is in a tier 3 data center. Yeah, and the pricing structure I've come up with, and I've tried to keep the cost as low as I can because I'm not looking to make money hosting really. I just want to cover my costs. That's really what I want to do. So I have a pricing specification here, and I'm going to show you what this looks like in a minute because I've got 3 people lined up already to do this, and it will be on a first come first served basis. But basically I'm putting all of my years of knowledge in me running AlphaVerse and building the same for you guys so you can run AlphaVerse the same way as I do it. And that includes like the mass collection of the weeklies and all those lovely things. So in order to run AlphaVerse, you do need a management PC, and that needs to be a decent spec Windows machine. I'm putting Windows 10 Professional Edition. It's on a domain. It's very secure. It's locked in a data center, and you remote into it, not via just a public IP address. It goes via something called an SSL proxy gateway, which is really heavily locked down. Now the cost of that is $75 per month. I can't get it any cheaper than that, guys, because I have to pay Microsoft for the licensing, and it's got everything you need in there to run your desktop. Okay, and the AlphaVerse server, which is where you're going to be running it, that's a higher spec than the clients. So obviously that's going to be slightly more expensive, and that's going to be $12 per month for 8 gigs of RAM, 4 virtual CPUs, run an Ubuntu server, and 100 gigs of fast storage. And for the clients, I'm saying 2 gigs of RAM, 2 CPUs, which is exactly what I'm running, 30 gigs of fast storage, and that is $6 a month, and that includes the PIA license, the VPN license as well. I think you'll struggle to get that cheaper anywhere else. And the very fact that I said if you're 50 clients or above, I will build it for free, and if you're below 50 clients, I won't rule you out, but I will have to charge my time, and I'll be charging $1.50 per minute. Okay, but what I do when we build these, I'll record them anyway. So I'm not here to rob anybody or rip anybody off. I just really want to cover my costs here. Yeah, so it's a tier 3 data center, highly available. I'll post this in Discord, but I'm going to show you one that is actually I've been working on. Right, this is one client here, so I'm going to try my damnedest to make sure that I don't reveal anybody whose the identity of this is. I'm building out their AlphaVerse server. They've got their own servers. I'm building out and as you see, I started building out their AlphaVerse for them. I'm going to work through them, get this done as soon as possible, really, and everything they need to run AlphaVerse is in this desktop. So including Microsoft Office and Excel, Word, PowerPoint, and WinSCP, Putty, multi-putty manager, Chrome profile setup for every single account, and scripts written so they can do the weeklies. Got VPN on here as well, which is permanently connected on PIA, and it allows you to connect into Stake on every single account, and everyone is set up, and it's the same setup that I run to run my AlphaVerse, and there's no external access to your AlphaVerse, so it's very secure. You'd have to come in via your virtual private server to gain access to your AlphaVerse server. So, and everything is on a VPN anyway, so it's all going to be pretty heavily locked down. Security is going to be a really big area for me to pay attention to. It will be set up with delegated permissions, segregated VLANs, and everybody get a unique logon, and I may even enforce multi-factor authentication. I might consider that yet. But either way, you get a portal to log in. You log in, that connects to the AlphaVerse domain that I've built for this. And then you get access to your desktop, and inside your desktop you've got access to your AlphaVerse, including Zen server, all your virtual machines, everything that you need to run AlphaVerse will be in here. So this will be a pinned message that I'm going to put in Discord. Big announcement from me anyway. Yeah, it's a huge amount of work, you must understand that, guys. So, and it will be definitely on a first come first serve basis. If you want this, you're going to have to be a little bit patient with me, because it's an awful lot of work for me to do. But I think it would be worth it in the long run. I think a lot of you would like to run AlphaVerse, but you just don't have the technical capability, or don't want to go off and buy the infrastructure, or you're finding that VPS providers are just bloody weird, and just so many nuances and oddities around there. If I'm hosting it, it's built exactly how it's meant to be built, and you don't have to worry about that. Right, gentlemen, I really hope you found this video useful. Like I say, for you, this would be quite a short video. For me, this has been like 14 hours in the making. It's going to take me another X number of hours to edit all of this. Huge amount of work goes into this video. What I need from you guys is feedback, please. Feedback is so important to me. Subscribe, like it, comments are really important. Share it if you want to. Let's spread the word. Okay, spread the word. And I speak to you all again very, very soon.